Welcome to the 2025 State Bar of Texas President-elect Candidate Forum. I'm Cindy Tisdale, the immediate past president of the State Bar of Texas.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kennon Wooten, the immediate past chair of the State Bar Board of Directors. Cindy and I this year serve as co-chairs of the State Bar's Nominations and Elections Subcommittee, and in that capacity, we have the privilege of moderating today's forum.
We are joined, of course, by Deborah Cordova and G. David Smith. Both have been tirelessly campaigning to become the next president-elect of the State Bar of Texas. This forum is an opportunity for Texas lawyers to meet them and ask them some questions.
We're going to be asking the candidates questions relating to the practice of law and the governance of the State Bar. We encourage all of you who are watching to ask questions as well. You'll submit questions in writing using the Zoom Q&A feature, and we will get to your questions as time allows.
This forum will be 1 hour, and we'll get to as many questions as possible. Candidates will have up to 2 minutes to answer each question. We'll start with introductions. Deborah and David, would you each like to take about a minute to introduce yourself? Let's start with Deborah.
Thank you. My name is Deborah Cordova. I am from Edinburgh. I've been practicing for 23 years. I'm a transactional attorney at the law firm of Walsh, McGurk, Cordova, Nixon. I'm honored to be one of your president-elect candidates, and I'm looking forward to answering questions today.
David.
Hi there. I'm David Smith. I'm from Rockwall, Texas. I grew up out in West Texas. I started my legal career in Odessa, Texas. I learned from a great community of lawyers out there how to practice law honorably, and I brought that forward and took it with me to Rockwall. I've had the privilege and the pleasure to try cases all across this state, and it has been a true honor to be a lawyer in Texas, and I want to share what I've learned and what I've accomplished through the years with the young lawyers of our state and help them become better lawyers for the people that they serve.
Well, thank you so much to both of you. We're going to go ahead and get started with the questions, and we'll alternate between the two of you in terms of the order in which you answer them. We're going to start with you, David, on question 1. AI is impacting the practice of law in many ways, as we know. What role do you think the State Bar should play in regulating its use and in educating lawyers about its potential applications?
Well, I think AI is a great tool. We use it in our practice, but we watch it very carefully. We're all very much aware of the cases that come from hallucinations with AI, and you have to use it exactly as that, a tool, not as a substitute for being a lawyer and doing what a lawyer does. One of the things that I think that the State Bar can do and has already done under the leadership of President Tisdale was the creation of the task force, which came out and analyzed AI, its application to the practice of law, and came up with a series of great recommendations and guidelines for the use of AI in the law practice. I recommend that everybody read the report of that task force because it's very comprehensive, it's very good. The problem with AI is that it is advancing so quickly and so rapidly. Anything that you do with regard to AI might be relevant one day and not relevant the next. I think that the report that came out of the task force was very good and did get out in front and created some great guidelines that will be out in front for some time to come. And I think the bar should be commended, and President Tisdale should be commended for creating that task force and getting those recommendations out there. So I think that's what the bar has done. I think it's very good, and I think we've just got to stay on top of those issues as they develop.
Thank you, David. Deborah?
Yes, thank you. So AI is part of my platform. And I have mentioned that we need to embrace AI. We need to embrace technological advancements. And I also share that past President Tisdale did create the Trail Task Force, and there are some great recommendations that have come out of that report. My thought on AI is that we should utilize this tool, and it's a great tool to utilize effectively and efficiently, and it certainly will help us in our legal profession. However, AI is not here to replace the legal profession. AI is here to simply augment the profession and make us better representatives and attorneys to represent our clients. Now, recommendations. There are several recommendations. One has already been implemented. Through the State Bar of Texas, we now have AI Vincent that's part of the VLEX fast case, the VLEX research tool that we have through the State Bar of Texas. So I think that is a great tool. In addition to that, I do think that we need to create an AI summit that we're able to study how AI continues to change in rapid technology every day. In addition to the summit, I would certainly recommend there are some attorneys that are already utilizing AI and some of us that may not be utilizing AI. So having that mentorship program with attorneys that are already working through AI and being able to address the issues that they have encountered or how they are utilizing it with the highest ethical standards would be another recommendation. And in addition to that, a final one would be certainly ensuring that AI is also being utilized or taught at the law school so that when our law students graduate, they are also equipped with the best technology to better serve their clients.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we're going to switch it up. And Deborah, if you'll answer this question first. Young lawyers comprise nearly 1/3 of the overall State Bar membership. In that regard, what are your goals for young lawyers as president of the State Bar?
So I was a past president of my local Hidalgo County Young Lawyers Association. And I know that through the Young Lawyers Association, we can certainly disseminate a lot of the information that we have at the State Bar available and getting them encouraged and engaged to be part of the process and engage with the State Bar. So the State Bar, under its current leadership, has already developed so many different tools that are available to young lawyers and has set out the foundation. And for me, it would be about strengthening that communication to young lawyers. So we have our State Bar of Texas leadership program where we can get young lawyers involved and they get to understand all of the different resources that are available through the State Bar. In addition to that, I'd like to continue to facilitate a mentoring type program with the sections. So the law we have 50 law sections. 23 of them already have some kind of program available, whether it's through scholarships or utilizing and getting to law students. But in addition to that, what I'd like to include is to make sure that not only the sections, but committees and the deans are getting together. We're having a roundtable discussion and understanding how law students can come out of law school better equipped, having already career pathways in mind, as they have discussed this with other attorneys as well, and then getting them involved through leadership programs, getting them engaged through the Texas Young Lawyers Association, and hopefully serving full circle on sections, committees, and on our board.
Thank you, David.
Well, believe it or not, I was a young lawyer once. And I remember when I got out of law school, I didn't know a thing about the bar. I knew two things. I knew I was going to send them a check every year and that I didn't want to get a letter. And that was it. That's all I knew about the bar. And I think most of us are still in that same boat. I've been talking to law students as this campaign has gone on, and I found that they are pretty much in the dark about the bar. It's a mystery. It's probably one of the best kept secrets in the legal community in Texas right now. We need to change that. And so I talked to some of the deans in the law schools, and one of the things that I want to see happen and that I would be doing as president of the bar is instituting a program where we are in the third-year curriculum of every law school in Texas. And the idea would be to teach law students about what the bar has to offer, about all the practice aids, about the free software that we have that's accounting software, the Smokeball software. That will run an entire office. The free research with the AI component that Deborah spoke about earlier, that's available. All those things are there, and most people don't even know they exist. the TLAP program, the counseling, all of those things. We need to teach them about that so they can utilize those tools right out of the box. And when they come out of law school, I want to encourage them in those programs to be involved in one of our 50 different practice sections. The sections are amazing, and many of them have some form of interactive platform where the members can talk. What I think the state bar can do to facilitate getting those young lawyers involved in those programs is to create platforms of communication, whether they be chat rooms, listservs, or something like that, so that the young lawyers can get onto a chat in their particular area of practice in their section and talk to seasoned lawyers, seasoned, better than older, but they can talk to seasoned lawyers, get advice, get forms, get information that will help them better their practice and better serve the people that they are working for, their clients. That's what this bar should be. This bar is a support organization for lawyers, and I think we can enhance that by having this educational program available. Also, I agree, we need to have an outreach program to engage both on the local level and on the state level for TYLA and young lawyer participation in the bar so that we can keep this great organization going and making it even better.
Thank you.
So we're going to start again with you, David, for this next question. Describe to your understanding the differences in practice between solo and truly small firms, such as 2 to 3 attorneys, and larger firms, and how the state bar can better serve those smaller firms.
Okay, that's a good question because I've been either in a small firm or a solo all of my legal career. For the past 42 years, that's what I've been doing. And one of the things that I think, the first thing that comes to my mind is just what I was speaking about. I think it would be very good for us to have during our CLE programs. By the way, we have some of the best CLE in the nation, and that's a fact. And our hat should be off to the bar for providing that CLE on a constant basis. But I think we can add to it. I think we can add in there at least 10-minute video snippets that will teach people about the bar. For example, in my practice, it took me 30 years to learn some of the things that the bar makes available, and I'm still learning to this day some of the resources that are out there. I think if we have some training during the CLE programs, you know, you kind of have to, when you're busy as a small firm practitioner, one of the things that you don't have time for is to go out and root around and find this type of information. If you make it available, if you make it available in the form of a video so that people can see that you can go to the State Bar website and you can find just about anything that will help you with your practice. All of the practice aids are amazing. You can create an entire law practice off of the State Bar website, and that's from inception to marketing to accounting software, research, the whole 9 yards. It's there, but we need to help the small firms understand that that's available because, like I say, waiting 30 years to find out about it, that's too long. We need to have it out there for them right now.
Thank you. Deborah.
Thank you. I agree with David. The State Bar does offer so many different resources, and a lot of those resources will help you set up your own small solo practice. A lot of the law students that will be graduating and that come out of law school and become licensed will end up opening up their own law practice. So I go back to making sure that we're strengthening the communication and that all attorneys and solo and small practices are aware of the trust and billing software, the insurance, the discounts, scholarships available for CLE, as well as all of the other practices, all of the other resources like TLAP that are available to attorneys. Now, I'll go back and say this as well. I think it is important that we share all of those resources with law students and with the solo and small practices. Through our section, we can certainly do that and also create a CLE that is geared towards a kind of either a webcast CLE that is geared towards making sure that those resources are being communicated to the solos and small practices. So my firm is a smaller firm as well, and I have seen, since being involved with the State Bar from 2008, how those resources have grown and how those resources, every year something is added in addition to that. That will certainly help us better serve our clients.
Thank you so much.
Deborah, that brings up a really good point. What you were talking about on the sections, there's a solo and small firm section. We need to get people involved in that. It's a great section. They do a lot of good things together, and so I've just add to that, get people involved in that section.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Deborah, this question, you go first. So the next question is from a member who wants to know, what is your response to the accusation by some that the State Bar of Texas has lost sight of some of the interest of its constituent members?
So my response to that would be I think the State Bar of Texas is doing some phenomenal things. One thing that we can improve on is communication. Because of the foundation that has been laid with all of the different resources that are available to all attorneys, is something where we can help improve that and make sure that we're getting all of that information to everyone. So we had some discussions during our campaign trail, and it kind of goes back to this question: how do we get more transactional attorneys involved? So we have different committees, we have sections where if we communicate that information to making sure that our district directors are disseminating that information to the local bar associations of all the resources that are available to transactional attorneys, we hopefully will get them more engaged. We also had the question during our campaign trail on how we can get more of the criminal defense attorneys involved. And I mentioned that that is one of our very active sections as well, with over 3,000 members, and making sure that we're getting that information to the right people, the attorneys that are practicing criminal law, and showcasing everything that the section does. Now, can we improve some of that? Absolutely. We can certainly improve what we can provide to our members, but we want to make sure that we are promoting, and as part of our mission, promoting diversity, and that includes in all practice areas and all of the different geographic regions as well. So by communicating and strengthening, I think we can get to all of our members. In addition to that, I will say that I am also always open. We listen, right? That's part of our process as we're going through this. We listen to other bar members that are not practicing what we practice, and we try to find solutions and determine whether that's something that we're capable of utilizing or implementing in the incoming year as well.
Thank you. David?
That's an interesting question, because the people that I've talked to on the campaign trail and the people that I reach out to, a lot of times I have to go and just knock on some doors and get people to talk to me. And some people are just disengaged, and some people feel like I did when I first started practicing law. I thought the bar was basically an ivory tower in Austin that was untouchable, and that the rest of us just needed to do what we do and stay away from the state bar. And it's because of the mystique that surrounds the bar. I think we can address that concern by members by first doing what I was talking about earlier. Let's engage the law students and teach them about the bar, because we haven't done that. We need to teach them. And when they get out, get them engaged. And then at that point in time, bar membership does become a two-way street. And I'm guilty of it. I will be the first one to admit I'm guilty of not engaging with the bar and trying to keep myself at a distance. So it takes people getting involved, and it takes the bar responding to them and getting the information to them. Like Deborah was saying, it is a good idea to have that communication, but we do need to have that two-way street. Now, how do we get that? How do we get people out of their shells and get them involved in the bar? We do what happened to me. We reach out to them. We go beyond the usual suspects for bar service and start reaching into the legal community and bringing people out, talking them into it, and getting them involved. Now, that takes some effort on leadership's part, but one of the things I really like to do is talk about the bar, and I'll talk to anybody who will listen, and some who won't even listen until they do. And I think bar leadership can go a long way and engage people and use the committee appointments that are available. All of our standing committees, we have many standing committees in the state bar that need new voices, that need new volunteers. If we can get people to come in and get engaged that way, that's another way we can break that down, because the bar hasn't lost sight. I agree, the bar has a great system of diverse people working together to do good things for the practice of law. We just need to get out there and get more people engaged and get them involved. And if we do that engagement and involvement, then we aren't going to have the criticism that the bar is leaving people in the lurch. It will be answered.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, the next question begins with you again, David. Several people have submitted questions asking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. What is your position on diversity, equity, and inclusion in the profession and the State Bar of Texas?
Let me start. When I rolled off the board last year, one of my aha moment with bar service was that when I rolled off of the board. I sat there and I was watching. I hung around because we have our last meeting and then the new directors come in and have their new meeting. Well, I hung around for the new meeting because I didn't want to leave. And I saw you hand off the gavel to Paul. And I looked down the table and I saw Santos Vargas. And I saw President Tisdale, and I saw Steve Benish. And then I looked out across the room and I saw all the incredibly different people that were there, and that just amazed me. And the reason it amazed me, and then Director Wynn got up and gave us her story of being a first generation coming over from Vietnam and being a lawyer, and the thrill that she had from that. It was moving. And if you weren't moved by it, you're a stone. I saw diversity at work. It's at work in this bar because there is a diverse group. And we have people from every persuasion in the bar board. We have every conceivable political ideology represented there. And despite all the differences that exist in that room, there's an energy, there's a spirit, and everybody works together and they get things done. What an example for our state, what an example for our nation. I'm proud of that, and I want to see it continued. We're doing it right in the state bar. Now we need to show that example to the rest of the world.
Thank you. Deborah.
Yes, that certainly is a great example. I'm very proud of the things that are happening at the State Bar. And I go back to our mission. Our mission is to promote diversity. And our programs, our CLE, our sections, our committees, is to promote all attorneys. And so, and as I mentioned, diversity in every single aspect, from having a diverse group with a common thread for the administration of justice, from representing all practice areas, from transactional to litigation to criminal defense to immigration, all practice areas, and then all regions. I'm excited that I served on the State Bar Board, and I'm from the Rio Grande Valley. I'm excited that we have everyone from different regions, and we need to continue to increase that from geographic areas that are not represented on the State Bar Board. I'm seeing beautiful things happen. I'm seeing a lot of diverse groups. And one thing that I am seeing that I really enjoy again is how everyone comes together to really promote the administration of justice to better serve our clients and also for the public.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Deborah, this one's for you. The next question is from a member about recent statements from the American Bar Association, or the ABA. Do you believe that the president of the State Bar of Texas has a role in carrying out the ABA's messages at the state level?
The State Bar of Texas is not affiliated with the ABA. So with that said, the president of the State Bar of Texas would not have a role in carrying out the message of the ABA.
Thank you. David?
The answer to that question is no. The role of the president of the State Bar of Texas is to be the voice of the State Bar of Texas, the face of the State Bar of Texas, not any other organization. We're here to promote Texas lawyers and the Texas Bar and do things good to improve the practice of law in the state of Texas for Texans. That's it.
Thank you so much. We've received several questions on this next topic as well. What is your position on the licensing of paraprofessionals and on non-lawyer ownership of law firms? We'll start with you, David.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. To address that question, you have to understand why that has become an issue. And the issue is that we here in Texas have an underserved population. There's 4.2 million people under the poverty line in Texas, and 92% of those people's legal needs, basic needs for legal services, are not being met. We're number 46 in the nation in being able to provide services to those who are in need, and that's embarrassing. We can do better. And one of the proposals that has come up is licensing of paraprofessionals and limited practice by paraprofessionals in the courts. I have personal opinions about that. I think that there are better ways to achieve meeting that goal. One of the things that I've been advocating on the campaign trail is that we need to have a pro bono initiative where the State Bar, working in conjunction with providers of different legal services to cater to especially to those in need, get together and create a clearinghouse where people in need have one place to go. Right now they have to find an organization, get paired with that, qualify for it. Sometimes they don't, and sometimes they just kind of drop out of the idea of trying to find help. If we have a clearinghouse that involves all of these agencies across the state, which are very good agencies and they're providing great services, the problem is just getting them to the people and getting the service to the people. If we have that, it makes the process more efficient. But in addition to that, we're going to need lawyers, and we're going to need lawyers to participate in that clearinghouse. And what I would like to see done, and one of the initiatives that I am promoting is that we create incentives for lawyers. I did an article for the Bar Journal that didn't get published because I ended up getting this nomination. But in that, we did a poll. My legal assistant assisted me, and we did a poll across the state and found out that there's a lot of lawyers out there providing free services that don't ever report it. There's more lawyers out there who would provide free service if they had an incentive to do it. And so what kind of incentives did we find that would really get them involved? Give them credit towards their CLE requirement every year. Give lawyers CLE scholarships to attend CLE courses by the State Bar, and they'll start participating. They get on that platform, they can provide services, and then those services can be delivered in areas where we have some legal deserts. We can have more participation by lawyers and more services provided. There are a lot of issues with the licensure of paraprofessionals, and there's many discussions that we need to have. I think we need to look at trying to get lawyers to provide the service first, but if that becomes necessary, then I think we need to look at it. There's going to be a lot of problems as to what kind of services they could provide. When do they stop at a certain point in time in their representation of people, when it becomes clear that there's more involved in the representation that they are providing? There's a lot of issues, and I could literally talk your ear off about this for about an hour or two. I'm not saying it's off the table. I'm just saying it's a discussion that's got to really be worked out. The State Bar has given some guidelines and some recommendations to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's action on paraprofessional licensing is on hold right now, pending some things that are happening in the legislature. but it is going to resurface. It is a conversation we need to have, and it might very well work into the scheme of providing legal services to those in need, but we need to have a lot of serious conversations before that happens.
Thank you. Deborah?
I agree. The conversation needs to continue. And as David mentioned, this came out of trying to reduce the justice gap and closing the justice gap. And part of my initiatives and my platform also includes access to justice. So the State Bar has a law access department. And through that law access department, there are so many pro bono resources that as attorneys we can utilize to help serve clients that aren't able to have any legal aid representation. And so making sure that we're getting that pro bono law access department resources to all of the attorneys in all areas of the state will be important. And David's right, we don't report our pro bono hours. So we don't have a full amount of how we're accounting all of the different pro bono hours that are being done and conducted by attorneys. And so if we report our hours and we utilize those resources and we hold ourselves responsible to provide some pro bono work, we can continue to make sure that that justice gap is closed. Also, I would like to say with pro bono, again, I go back to our sections. There are numerous sections that are already including or implementing and effectuating pro bono initiatives. So I'd like to encourage all of our law sections to continue to do that and make sure that we have that pro bono initiative as part of our sections so that we can continue to reduce that justice gap.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a new question that just came in, and please remember that if you have a question, just use the chat feature and send us your question, and we'll be happy to ask it. So the next question is, Deborah, who will monitor the actions of the paraprofessionals who are authorized to practice under the proposed rules?
So under the proposed rules, there are still some guidelines or comments that were provided by the State Bar of Texas. And so it would be the State Bar of Texas that would continue to monitor some of those actions.
David, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, you need to understand that the paraprofessional practice would not be a State Bar initiative. That would be a Supreme Court rule that would come out of the Supreme Court. Right now, the Supreme Court is being very diligent in reviewing the recommendations that were submitted by the State Bar, and I would hope that the court, in its wisdom, would incorporate all of the recommendations actually that the State Bar made with regard to oversight and licensure. I think if somebody is going to be walking into a courtroom in Texas, they need to be governed by the same body that governs the lawyers who practice in those courtrooms. So if it does become an eventuality, I think the rules need to include oversight by the State Bar.
Thank you.
All right, next question. Why do you want to serve as president of the State Bar of Texas? And if elected, what priorities will you pursue? And I know some of you've already touched on some of these in your answers, but to the extent you haven't addressed them already, please provide them. David.
Okay. This was not on my radar 8 months ago. I was not thinking about running for State Bar president. I got a visit from a member of the Nominations and Elections Committee and was encouraged to submit my resume. I went home and I talked to my wife and I talked to my son, who is also my law partner, and we talked about it. And in my 42 years of being a lawyer, the bar has been very good to me, and the practice has been very good to me, and we decided that it was time for me to give back. I don't have a resume to build. That's already done. I want to help. I want to help lawyers. I want to help lawyers be better. I want to help them serve our clients so that our clients get better legal service. That's what I want to do, and that's why I'm here. We made a decision as a family that this was an endeavor worth pursuing. And I thank my family for encouraging me and helping me to get to that point. And that is the primary reason I'm here. Now, what do I want to do? I want to help young lawyers. I want to teach them in the third year of practice, like we said. That's one of the things that I've been promoting. I want to get them involved in the sections that we've both been talking about. I want them to be able to have mentorship, the mentorship that I had from the community of lawyers like the community of lawyers that I had when I started practicing out in Odessa. I was very fortunate. I had great lawyers who taught me how to practice law honorably. I want that to be available to every young lawyer coming out of law school. And many of the fine firms that I've visited, they have that in those firms. But other lawyers who are either working in solo in small firms or on their own, they don't have that. I want them to have access to seasoned lawyers that they can reach through these platforms I've been talking about through the sections. I also want to improve on the other side of that, the services that are provided to the people we serve, and that being through getting greater access to justice and creating that clearinghouse so that we have easier access by the people in need and easier ability of the service providers to get that service to the people that need it. And in addition, getting lawyers to step up to the plate and come in and provide pro bono services through that platform so that we eliminate that gap that exists. That's why I want to run, and that's why I'm here.
Thank you. Deborah.
So I've been involved with the State Bar since 2008. It started serving on a committee, and then that evolved into serving on a section, becoming the chair of a section of the Women in the Law, and then serving on the Council of Chairs. From there, I was elected to serve on the State Bar Board of Directors. As I rolled off the State Bar Board of Directors, I continue my service through different committees. And my involvement over the years has led me here, and I'll share why. I didn't start just serving through the State Bar. I started my service early on in my career. It is at the core of who I am. It's about giving back. It's about leading and leading by example. I've been a past president of my Young Lawyers Association in Hidalgo County. I've been a past president of the Hidalgo County Bar Association, and I've been involved as a past president of the Texas Women Lawyers, and also led other organizations outside of the legal space. And I didn't get there alone. I got there because there were people that believed in me, believed in my leadership, and believed in what I do by way of example. So many people opened doors for me, and I am ready to give back. It's not to build the resume, it is at the core of who I am, and I am ready to give back to all attorneys. So what is part of my platform? It's about engaging, evolving, and elevating the bar. The engagement, you've heard us mention this. We need to make sure that we're strengthening our communication to all different areas of practices and to all geographic areas so that our attorneys understand the resources that are available so that they can better serve our clients. It's also about pipeline. We're both very passionate about our law students and ensuring that our law students are coming out ready and equipped with the best resources, whether they are opening up their own law practice or starting under a law firm. In addition to pipeline, we talked about it, the justice gap. It's important that we also know the pro bono resources that are available to reduce that justice gap. The evolving portion, it's technology. We know that technology is ever changing, but we must embrace it. We must embrace technology and understand how it really intersects with the practice of law, but also utilizing it with high ethical standards, because that responsibility is on us. And it's not to replace the legal profession. And the last part is really elevating the bar, passionate about educating the public on the rule of law, the rights and responsibilities. And so I'm running for State Bar of Texas President-elect to help all attorneys, all practice areas, all geographic areas, and our law students that are graduating from law school.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. So Deborah, kind of dovetailing into that, what do you see as the role of the State Bar President, and what leadership traits would you bring to that office if you were elected?
The role of the State Bar of Texas President is to be the face and the voice for the State Bar of Texas for all attorneys. I've been involved very fortunately with other organizations that have helped develop skills from being able to listen, to communicate, to implement programs when necessary. But I also understand where there is a strong foundation that exists and how you can continue to build on that foundation. And so I would bring all of those different traits to the State Bar of Texas as president. I also bring experience, the experience of being able to listen to all and keeping an open mind, and then determining, whether we can find a solution for any of those concerns or comments that are brought up.
Thank you, David.
The president of the State Bar of Texas is the voice of the State Bar, is the face of the State Bar. Now, my face is not as pretty as Deborah's, but I feel like I have the leadership qualities that are necessary to bring people together and make things happen. Over the years, I have served in many different roles. I've served in many different capacities in a number of nonprofit organizations. And one of the things I've found living in a community where we have great divisions, in our times right now, people are divided. People have arguments. People have disagreements. People feel that they are alienated and polarized and that they can't possibly see eye to eye on anything at all. What I've learned, I've been on the board for a nonprofit in Rockwell in our little community, and we provide housing. One of the boards that I serve on provides housing to those who cannot afford housing in our market. We also have a clinic that provides medical services to those who don't have insurance. And in that community, sometimes that is met with resistance. But what I've found is when you go out to the people who express concerns, and they're valid concerns, when we have those people come forward, I like to engage them. I have those difficult conversations with them. And I'm proud to say that we have been able to find common ground and be able to work together to make those organizations not only work, but they thrive. And they thrive with the active participation of people from all walks of life. It's like I was talking about the State Bar Board of Directors. It's got an incredible amount of diversity and a large number of different ideologies and thoughts, but everybody comes together and everybody works for the common good. I can find that common denominator with people. I've done it in the past, and I don't mind doing it again and again and again because it's something I love to do. And that's what I bring to the State Bar, and that's what I think I can do to help.
Thank you.
All right, we have a question from somebody who's watching today. This person wants to know about the campaign trail. Understands that candidates visit law groups throughout the state, and the question is, what does that involve? How has your experience been? Starting with you, David.
Wow, it's been wild. I've put over 8,000 miles on my truck since the 1st of February. And it's been challenging. Deborah and I were talking about this a while ago. The great fortune is that we've met so many people, and we've been able to have so many great conversations with people. And like I say, we've met people from all walks of life, all different persuasions, all different practices, and that common denominator always comes in when you have those conversations, and it's just been a great experience. I've learned so much in the past 2 months from this process. Now, has it been exhausting? Yeah. Are we ready for it to be over? Probably. But it's just been a great experience. It's been great to talk to the lawyers, but the sad thing of it is, out of all the lawyers that we've talked to, we've only reached a small percentage. I just wish that we had the ability to talk to all of them. And I think you can tell I'd probably talk their ear off if they'd let me, but it's been a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's been fantastic. I've enjoyed every minute of it as well, and we have visited some areas together. And I do want to share, we have just been so professional and have enjoyed it when we're there together. But I do want to share this. This year, our campaign trail, or it was compressed into a 3.5-month period. And as David mentioned, we can't get to everyone. We certainly hope we would be able to get to everyone, but we certainly are trying. We've been traveling every single day and making sure that we're reaching out to the bar associations, to the law firms, to legal aid and district attorney's office, and touring and walking. And everyone has been so welcoming in that regard. And what I've enjoyed most is that I will ask questions as I'm introducing myself, as well as how can we improve? And I get comments. And so I'll always turn around and grab my phone once I'm done, and I'll plug in those comments. So I make sure, if elected, whether there's something that I can help facilitate to either improve, implement, or maybe it's something that we can't do. But I certainly will try my very best to make sure that I get back to those individuals. I've learned throughout this process as well that there are certain things that are important, to some attorneys that they bring up and raise, and then there's other things in certain areas that they bring up and raise. So it's always keeping that open mind and making sure that you're listening to everyone throughout this process. But I've enjoyed it. I was used to traveling, but not at this magnitude. It certainly has been an experience. And I just want a big shout out to all of the locations, all of the areas, and everyone that we have visited. Everyone has been so welcoming.
That's great.
So welcoming. So it's been a fantastic journey. And I know we're a little sad that it's going to come to an end, but we've enjoyed every single minute of it.
That's true.
Thank you. Another question from someone who's watching. And so Deborah, you go first on this one. What differentiates your potential presidency from each other?
What differentiates our presidency from each other? Okay. So I shared this a little earlier. I've been involved with the state bar for many years. Since 2008, I started my service in committees. And on the committee, I learned a lot of value that the state bar has to offer since that time. And as I rolled into becoming the chair of a section, I learned a different aspect of the state bar and what the sections do and how they operate. Then I rolled on to serving on the board. I served on the board and was able to be part of key committees like the budget committee, the executive committee, the policy manual, and many, many more that allowed me to continue to build on all of the resources that the state bar has to offer and how the state bar operates. As I rolled off the board, I knew that my time was not over when I was asked by the president-elect at the time to serve on committees. So I continued my bar service on committees. I'm currently the chair of the Outreach and Engagement Committee, and I serve on the Diversity in the Profession Committee. Continuing to serve on the state bar has taught me that there is some strengthening in the communication that we need to do. And while I am still only have been practicing 23 years, those 23 years have been spent in doing so many different leadership programs. I am proud to be running this campaign with David. Probably would not have it any other way. I think he is a great leader as well. But my leadership experience through the state bar, through those many years, is something that probably differentiates me. And in addition to that, being able to lead different organizations that were outside of the legal space that have taught me how to grow, how to not only grow professionally as a leader, but I've grown as a person. Have we had failures? Yes. But through failures, that is how I have learned to continue to improve every organization that I have touched. Every organization that I've been a part of, I have either created a program like the Rio Grande Valley Partnership Chamber of Commerce. I created a leadership program that is in its 10th year. I have also, through a past president of the Boys and Girls Club of Mission, I created a scholarship program. I created an anti-bullying program. So every organization that I have been a part of, I've been able to contribute and bring value to the organization. And I plan to do the same for the State Bar of Texas.
Thank you. David?
Well, my hat's off to Deborah. I'm not going to say anything that would remotely even consider saying anything bad about her, because I respect her and I respect what she has done. What I bring that's different is that I have been doing this for quite some time. I've been doing it for 42 years. And I started out in a general practice of law, and for those of you who have done that before, you know that that's a daunting challenge, because you have to be able to make yourself conversant, you have to make yourself knowledgeable enough in each area of practice that you serve to be able to help the clients that are seeking your services. And so that created a broad amount of knowledge on my part of the legal experience that a lawyer goes through. I understand what it's like to try cases. I understand the need for getting documents drafted correctly. I understand the rigors of criminal law practice and the heartache and the sheer amount of work that you have to put into making your cases good so that your clients have the best representation possible. I've understood the angst of waiting on juries to come in and what the verdict's going to be. I've struggled with families who have had family problems and have had to deal through the court system, both through the family law section and then where it dovetails into other areas of practice like criminal law or the issues that come about from a divorce proceeding where you have estate distributions and estate separations. I've seen that. I've experienced that. And I understand what lawyers go through when they're dealing with all of those issues. I've talked to many people, many lawyers, and dealt with them and helped them through crises and helped them to regain control of their lives. I've seen situations where, unfortunately, that could not be remedied. I understand the rigors of the practice of law. I understand what needs to be done to help this bar organization make law practice better for lawyers in Texas and better for the people that we serve because of that broad base of knowledge that I have. I bring to the table my ability to have the difficult conversations and bring people together and talk about things that we have in common so that we can reach common goals and make things happen instead of just be in opposite corners and argue about it. That's what I bring to the table. And that's what I want to do for this bar. And that's what I want to do for the lawyers of this state. And I ask for your support in getting that done.
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad I get to ask this question of the two of you because I've been so impressed by your civility and professionalism throughout your campaign. And so I have the honor of asking you, what can the State Bar do to enhance ethics and professionalism among Texas lawyers, starting with you, David?
That one's easy, okay? You lead by example. And over my legal career, I've made some mistakes. You know, I've had some not so shining moments. I've had some horrible moments. And those moments have taught me that when you do something mean, you do something bad, that comes back against you. I believe in karma, and it comes back to haunt you, okay? And so what the bar can do is teach that civility is the key. You can be adversaries. You can have intense legal battles, but you can still be professional. You can still reach out to your opponent. I teach the young lawyers that work with me that the first thing you do is not send an email when you get something from an opposing counsel. You pick up the phone and you make a phone call. And when there is a problem on a case, you work it out. You do your best to work it out before you take it to the court so that you can sign your certificate of conference and say, we've done all we can do, Judge. We're going to give it to you, and do it in a respectful manner, and do it in a respectful manner to the court and to your opposing counsel. Leading by example, that's what the bar should do, and that's what the bar should teach all of the young lawyers. But if we don't set that example and we don't live the lawyer's creed, it's in our lawyer's creed what we're supposed to do. But we need to reinforce that, and the best way to reinforce that is getting out there and letting people see. Number one, it's the right thing to do, and number two, it gets things done a lot better, and number three, when you're done, you have a friend at the end of the day instead of an enemy. All of those things are important, and that's what the bar should be teaching. I think the bar does that. I think we have it in our lawyer's creed. We just got to reinforce that more and more, especially in these times.
Thank you so much, Deborah.
Yes. Civility is at the foundation of the legal profession. I was at a family law conference a couple of weeks ago in San Antonio, and there was a judges panel. And one of the first things that the judge mentioned was the reinforcement of civility and how important civility is in our legal profession. And so I agree, David, leading by example, and I think we've done that throughout this process. And so it is part of the foundation, and it is part of the legal profession, and we should be doing it on a daily basis with our clients, with on our opposing counsel, on all of our cases. When we're negotiating, for me as a transactional attorney with opposing counsel. And it's important that at the end of the day, that when you close that day, that certainly you leave there with holding your head up high, and you know that you treated people with respect, with professionalism, as we should every day in the legal profession. So civility, again, it's at the foundation of the legal profession, and it should be taught and included within our CLEs, and making sure that that is at the top of mind for everyone.
Thank you so much.
So we have just about 3.5 minutes left. Did we have another question?
We have one more question from the audience. Should I read it and we'll go quickly with answers?
You get 30 seconds each to answer.
All right, ready?
That's hard.
Through your campaigning, what did the people you met with identify as problems that they would like the bar to address? I'm sure you can answer this very quickly.
30 seconds.
Yeah. So we'll start with you, Deborah.
You go first.
I'll go first. A lot of things that I've heard through the campaigning process is how can we get all practice areas engaged? What is out there for those practice areas? And we go back to what we've been repeating over and over. It's really strengthening the communication of the state bar and showcasing all of those resources that we have available for all practice areas, and getting them engaged, serving on committees, serving on sections, and hopefully being a state bar board of director one of these years.
Excellent, thank you.
David?
We both heard the same thing. People want to know, what does the bar do for me? Most people that I've talked, well, just every lawyer, I ask them the same question. What do you know about the bar? What did you know about the bar when you graduated? Very little. And like I say, the bar is the best kept secret in Texas, and it shouldn't be. We do need to get the word out and communicate to our lawyers better and let them know what's out there and how good it can be for them.
Thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you. Our time today is coming to an end. We hope this forum has been useful for you in the upcoming election for the State Bar President-elect.
And as a reminder, voting in the State Bar of Texas and Texas Young Lawyers Association elections starts on April 1 and ends at 5 p.m. Central Time on April 30th. Attorneys can vote by electronic ballot, and you can find a lot more information about this at texasbar.com/elections.
And you each have about another 30 seconds, 45 seconds, if you would want to give just kind of a closing statement. And David, you go first on this one if you'd like to give just a closing statement, please.
Okay. I want to thank everybody for attending. I appreciate your concern, your interest, and I just want you to know, and I think I speak for both of us on this, we are both deeply committed to the bar, and we want to do what's best for lawyers in the state of Texas. I want to have this office, I want to have this job because I feel like I have a passion and a desire to make the practice of law better for lawyers and for the people that they serve. And I ask you to think about the things that have been said here today, and I just ask for your support. I will do you a great job, and I will serve the lawyers and the people of Texas admirably, honestly, and effectively.
Thank you. Deborah?
So we have over 116,000 attorneys. In the last election, a little under 21,000 voted. I am encouraging everyone to use your voice and vote, first and foremost. I certainly am dedicated. I've been dedicated and passionate about every organization that I have led, and I will continue to do that as well for the State Bar of Texas.
Thank you so much to both of you, and thank you to all of you for participating today.
And don't forget to vote. As a reminder, voting in the State Bar and TYLA election starts on April 1st and ends at 5 p.m. Central Time on April 30th. Please don't miss this chance to exercise your vote in our bar and send a message to Texas lawyers that we value our self-governance in this system. Thank you so much for being here with us today, and thank both of you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.